What is up, everybody? It's me, it's RDV, and I'm here guys with not Geekeasy. We got Eric Breen on here. Geekeasy has to work, so he'll be here the hour after. So right when I'm finishing done and doing my reviews. Only 11 books this week. A lot of good little independent books come out this week too. Having fun with that. DC did well this week, for some of their books. I did not pick up Superman. Mainly because it's tying into the KO thing, and I have no interest into the knockout event they're writing. I'm sure if Zach comes on, he'll be all excited for it. But I'm done with events.
Don't chew, just snooze.
Yep. That's what I say to my girlfriend every night.
No.
There goes the phone. The cat wants to make a collect call, okay? Or a long distance needs a phone. She wants to order. Yeah. Don't get your cat one of those Alexa devices. They'll start meowing, and then they'll start ordering things. Because you have to meow for mail mix, don't you? All right. Enough with the dad jokes, or not badly attempts at dad jokes. Let's get this going here. That's what y'all came here for. All right. This week, my number 11 book is going to be Greg Arca's Lazarus. Michael Lark on the art. Towards the end of the series. I guess supposed to be the last. I believe this was the last run. I love the fact that because these books were coming out so scarce, they give you a rehash what happens each issue. Because otherwise, you have no idea. And I've come across books in the past where they did not even give you that. So this was going so far in Lazarus Fallen, the final chapter. The world now lies divided not amongst political or geographic boundaries, but among financial ones. Wealth is power, and that power resides in only a handful of families. The few who have provided a service to the ruling family are cared for and protected. All others are considered waste. For almost 3 years, Forever and Infinity have evaded all efforts to recapture them. Infinity being the clone of Forever, who was the first Lazarus, worked for the Carla family. The journeys have taken them ultimately to Paris, where they are discovered by the Armitage family Lazarus, known as Sir Thomas Houston. While they managed to defeat the Sir Thomas, the Paris cell of the resistance group, has allied with them and basically was compromised. So now the sisters and the surviving members of that basically resistance group are now on the run. Sonia Binner, who's a fellow Lazarus who once called Forever a friend, is now in pursuit. This is the art you get in here too. Once again, the only really big complaint I have with this series, or at least this time around, because I didn't do this before, is that all the French dialects is translated at the back of the book instead of this being actually on the book, So, which really drives me nuts. I should not have to go back here and read all the words that they basically were using. To me, that is lazy. That's stupid. That's not how you sell a comic book. Also, I don't want to sit through 2 pages, or actually, no, 3 pages of Greg Rucka spurging out because Kimmel probably got fired. I'm just guessing. I didn't read it. I'm not going to read it more. It's always the same. Every single back page is always him basically complaining about our government. But overall, though, I said the story is pretty good. The art here is pretty good. You got the Forever Carla, who is basically, or her father, who basically is mad because now their secret of immortality is pretty much gone down the tubes, and they're trying to recreate it because he wants to not age anymore. Even though it said and you got his family, who basically doesn't like him anymore, are kind of like plotting against him. Well, we got the French resistance. Even have a former son down here. Got the eye patch, Johan, who was kicked out of the family for betraying them, but Forever at the time spared his life because she didn't trust what the what her basically father figure was telling him, you know, because she was treated as a mutt, as a dog. But when she finally learned that she was actually a clone made from the dad's wife, who basically was like estranged and didn't want nothing to do with them. So, um, yeah. Uh, Overall, like I said, at the end they get through. They manage to slip by all the people. Uh, Sonia Bittner, who's the other Lazarus, who's friends with, she's basically friends with forever, is alerted that they've been seen in Paris, and then they're fleeing. And so basically, she's like, the lady was like, "Should I go there and send a team over?" She's like, "No, I'll do it myself. I'll track it myself." They get there, and pretty much as they're going, they're going to go to a boat towards the end of the issue. Forever kind of notices something, kind of like someone's following them. Of course, because Lazarus are pretty high senses. They're basically the perfect suspect, so they can tell. And yeah, so Sonya lets them leave, or at least temporarily. Next issue is supposed to be her versus Forever in a final battle, confrontation of the series. I don't read the new history of DC crap. Sorry. If you like that, I don't buy it. So maybe Zach will have it if he shows up. But this is next issue. It looks like they're gonna have start the trials over, you know, and yeah. Overall, like I said, despite the fact that it's Greg Rucka, you know, because like I said, Greg Rucka, it could be a good writer when he wants to be. But I said, I'll give him at least respects the fact that he doesn't put like, you know, feminism or any of the other bullshit, you know, like, you know, stupid tropes into these books. He actually just writes a compelling story. On the cover is actually Infinity, as you can see the outline of her. Since she's forever found out that they're basically going to replace her last volume, and with Infinity so basically they treated each other as sisters. They've been on the run. Infinity has an upgrade that Forever never had. Forever has a healing factor and all that stuff and smarts, but Infinity has the ability to go invisible. So, all right, number 10 is Void Rivals. Issue number, I believe, number 23. So we're at this point of the series. We're told that, you know, if Unity happens, something's basically going to come out of this this portal here. It's between the ring, where the both two warring factions have always been fighting, and with them attempting to do Unity, which basically bringing each other as one. Basically, the Unity here starts happening. All their little gems on their stones on their forehead starts glowing, and then everyone starts, you know, basically like, you know, seeing what's going on. And one problem is, though, they're like, "Oh, it's great stuff," until they start writhing in pain, because what's causing it is their whatever energon, or I guess it might be stored inside their gems or whatever, is being pulled out. And it's going to release whatever Serta Prime and Transformer, who basically had been there years ago from Cybertron, had trapped this giant celestial being in there. Now, so what happens is that basically the creature's going to get loose, only until they basically we learn that basically that one of them basically says, "You know, you need to leave. You're going to kill us all." Basically, I thought I wanted Unity, but if we keep doing this, we're all going to die by freeing this monster. So the enemy ends up retreating, and the monster basically can't come out of the portal because the portal closes. So now Serta's pissed off. She calls back Salia and basically scolds her and saying like, "You betrayed us." It's like, you know, "I was foolish to trust you." And yeah. Meanwhile, we got Hot Rod, or Rod, you know, before he kills Rodimus Prime in the Transformers movie. Him and I believe it's I forget what his name is in the actual Autobot. But basically, what they're talking about is like, wait, what about Serta? Like, Serta could be twisted as evil. It's like, you know, they don't believe the lies that Serta would actually cause them pain. This to bring on unity. So they kind of question that too. And then the main guy, you know, they're basically wondering where's Solly at, you know. So, I thought it was a decent issue. My thing is, like, I thought we're finally gonna get the monster set free, but it just felt like, you know, you know what it reminded me of? Batman 50. You know, without the advertisement, you know, we thought we were gonna get the marriage, and then in the last seconds, we're like, no, we're not gonna do that. So I'm like, Robert Kirkman just teased us with this, you know, and it felt like, you know, like a horrible tease. Yeah. Summer Supper, Eric Breed is not buying new comic books. I'm the only one right now. If Jeff shows up or Zach shows up and they have the book, they'll review it, but there's no guarantee. No. Breed, I think you only read the first issue of the new history of the DC universe.
Right? First two.
First two? Did you care for it at all? Or do you think it was...
Yeah, I liked it. Other than the Justice League thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason I'm not reading it, because of the whole Justice League thing, because I'm pissed about that. And the fact that when you change one thing and you accept that, then it becomes okay to start changing other things.
Well, and that'll be the handbook until they restart everything again.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, the who's who of the DC universe was a thing for a while. Yeah, it changed. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with, you know, retrofitting their history, but taking the America off of Justice League, that's political, and I like that.
My thing is, are they going to start taking other things off? Because once you start doing that, like I said, what's next? You know.
Well, better question. You know, what's first was Truth, Justice, in a Better Tomorrow. Because they took the American way out of that. They take the America off of Justice League. If you hate it so bad here, leave.
Why didn't he take America off of Justice Society of America, JSA?
I don't know. They haven't got, maybe because he's not writing it.
Do you think that the JSA will be JS next? The
Wouldn't
JS League?
me.
The JS League? JSL? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of, I don't really read a lot of history books, at least on the DC comic stuff, because unless it's an official one, and this just feels like, so, you know, it sounds like someone coming in on a comic vine and just writing this is the new history. No, the history is what the history of the business. You know what you guys been doing. That's the history.
Well, his new history fits what they have done in the past several years.
Yeah.
And getting back to the American thing real quick, the left always likes to tell us that, you know, we should welcome all, legal or illegal, because this is America. This is where where everybody wants to be.
Yeah, and
we're all American. But then they take America off of the thing. That's kind of counterproductive to
yeah. Idiot.
Yeah. Oh, what are you gonna do?
All right. Well, I'm gonna review the final issue. This is my number 9 book. This is issue number 4 of Genka Naked Aggression, which was featured in 2000 AD Rebellion. I guess that I think it's called it's called Rebellion 2000 AD or 2000 AD Rebellion. I was getting confused on that one. The magazine.
It's Gehenna, in case you care.
It's called what?
Gehenna.
Well, no. I'm just saying this is a story from that. This is a reprint of a story.
Right, but you said you I think you put a K in there.
Gehenna, whatever, Gehenna.
Yeah, now you got it. If you care. Yeah.
Vicky McKenna. I don't know. Gehenna, Gehenna. Naked. Anyway, so basically, in the story, which is, I guess, I told you it's a reprint from 2000 AD Rebellion, they decided to. Hey, here's a Zach. All right. They basically decided to reprint these issues in the individual. So if you missed out on the story, and now it's going to be going to floppy form, and now it's going to trade. This is the final issue. In the beginning of this story, basically, this girl, we learned that her husband and child were both murdered by the mob, and she's been basically uncontrollable. She's been going around, and the debt keeps getting paid. Is basically revenge. Once she takes one family, the other family wants to take the revenge, and basically nobody wants to deal with her because she's like a black sheep. No one can kill her. And so now she decides to go after one of the mob families and kidnap his son, only to reveal at the very end of this last issue of the series that the dad's been dead. He was murdered by his sister, who took over. It was power hungry, took over his mafia business, and basically it doesn't give a crap if she kills the kid who she took hostage. And she's kind of like, really about the series, she's kind of been like bonding with this kid who basically didn't really get along with his father. He was kind of like one of those mobster kids who basically is like, just basically has a strict life. So it's kind of seems like a mother, like almost like an adoptive mother and adoptive son relationship with running to them. This series is going to continue in next year with another volume, and I'm looking forward to it. The only problem I have with this, there's a scene here where she needs to go to get some more drugs, or not drugs, but basically more weapons. So the guy who she meets is a Hulk Hogan lookalike, and that really just pissed me off. Trying to make Hulk Hogan look like a bad guy who basically just wants to get high with her and basically have sex, turning me into a total creep. I was like, what is this bullshit? I mean, I'm all for like doing action stuff like that, but when you start taking a celebrity in there because you have a hate boner for them, it just becomes boring and not creative. Also, brother wouldn't do that. He'd be the one taking down the criminals. But yeah, the other thing about this, the art's kind of rough on this, but it almost comes off almost very like manga-esque.
It looks like I'm getting big Carlos Pacheco vibes, which is a good thing. I like Pacheco's art, so.
But I love this kind of like, here's the headline. Here's it's basically drawn like a movie, like an intro, like a Robert Rodriguez. Here's and then they do the title the fancy way, and then it keeps going in the middle of the story. Yeah. So overall, it's a decent story. The whole Hogan thing got annoyed the fuck out of me, but pardon my language. Patrick Kildon is the writer, and the art is done by Marizo Rosenwig, with Matteo Vittani and the colors, and yes, that's done by Jim Campbell.
Was that Brune's cat?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not crazy then. Okay. I thought that was you for a second. I was like, he wouldn't make a noise like that. That was weird. I don't think I've ever heard that cat make a noise.
Yeah, you know what, Justin? I agree. It should have been Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. But yeah. Overall, it was a fun story. It's gonna be a really recent trade, probably, and it's because it's what it's through Image, $15 probably, 15, 19 somewhere on there. I think the first Image books trades are always like $16 or something like that. They're not too expensive.
Yeah, no, Image trades tend to be pretty reasonable.
Just glad that they kept that policy, because always their first trades are always like cheaper, and then the second trades go up a little price, like $5 more. So basically, they get their money back. So, all right, number 8 is Ultimate Spider-Man. No, that is not Bullseye on the cover. We apparently in this universe, there's a bunch of Bullseyes, the Bullseye Army. And recently we found, in spoilers, obviously these are all spoilers, and so Harry recently learned that his wife Gwen Stacy was Mysterio, member of Kingpin in her circle, but there's actually 5 Mysterios, including James Wesley, Kingpin's right-hand man. But when Gwen went rogue, started a war targeting other members of the Sinister Six, starting with Mr. Negative. So we see Wesley in the very beginning of this story ends up being kidnapped by Mr. Negative, who then wants to basically, Mr. Negative's powers, he can make you, corrupt you, and make you spill your beans, pretty much. So we also get the origin. And I'll say right now, if you're expecting with the only 3 more issues to be a lot of high octane, this issue is way out of place where it should be. It's an origin story for Mr. Negative, and barely continues what's going on in the story. So it kind of feels a kind of a huge letdown for that. That's why it's lower in my my books. That's why it's not even the top 5, because it's an origin story for Mr. Negative. But it also reveals that Mr. Negative has a sister who, when he discovered he had powers, basically started using him, and they basically took over the leagues and everything, and all the other gangs, until they came across Kingpin. Kingpin was the only one who could resist basically his powers, and so they decided to form a league with them, or alliance. Meanwhile, we have Uncle Ben and basically Jameson needs to have a bigger mustache. I'm sorry, that is bad. But Jameson and Ben are gonna go pull a thread, so they're gonna start with Kingpin to basically try to expose stuff. Oh, if you're muted, if you think you're muted right now, Zach, you're not.
I know I'm not. That was in case you had to ask me a question while I was in the kitchen.
Meanwhile, Harry is kind of questioning with he's having to follow kind of with Gwen, or how aggressive she is, and he talks to Otto Octavius. I love Otto Octavius' look in this. He just reminds me of like a mad professor from like the 1960s or 50s, Dr. Strangelove or whatever. So and he says like, "Oh, you want my advice?" I'm not really good at advice, but have you ever thought about divorce? Might be your best option. But so this whole issue is pretty much kind of been like an origin story for Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative also basically gets Wesley to basically confess everything, because you want more about Kingpin's efforts, but and then until Wesley lets it slip that he's actually not loyal to Kingpin, and then he reveals the secrets about the whole entire order of the Mysterios. We see Wesley goes there. The girl on the bottom right here is supposed to be Wesley's sister, or not Wesley's sister, but Mr. Negative's sister. I was wondering who she was, because she kind of just very more vocal in the past couple of issues. Whenever they had meetings, she supported Gwen. It's revealed that Mr. Negative pretty much once learning that his sister was there, had a job for Wesley, and he basically had Wesley do something, turned Wesley into a jihad, and basically had him strapped to a bomb around his chest. And when Gwen sees this, and Wesley says, "I'm sorry," he's crying, and basically, as Mr. Dave is watching his cam, you know where this is going. Gwen is now dead, and all the rest of the Mysterios, because of the suicide bomb.
Maybe.
We don't know. Remember, remember though, they're all masters of illusion. So if she's wearing the amulet, I don't know if the amulet gives her powers to avoid death like that. But yeah, like I said, it barely continued going on with what's going to the main overall story, but being this so close to the end, I understand that if that's the whole point, was to be shocking because they want to kill Gwen at the end. But the whole reveal of Mr. Negative's origin story should have been like 3 or 4 issues before this. The impact, but it just feels like here's my thing. Maybe don't end it at issue 24. If you're going to do this, keep going, Kirk, and don't give it to Denise Camp or whatever. Have Jonathan Hickman continue it for at least another 10 more issues, so you can let it have room to breathe. Because right now it just feels like boom, and then she's dead. Here's Mr. Negative. I'm like, okay, we all know Mr. Negative's story, here. Oh, it's a twist. He has a sister. Okay, cool. Not much big difference.
I mean, this is how Hickman does. I said this from the beginning. He slow burns, and then when he gets to the finale or the climax or everything starts to fire in rapid succession. You go from 0 to 60. That's the beauty of it. So
I don't know. Like I said, it needs time to simmer if you're gonna have kill up Gwen, or at least like my thing. My biggest problem with this issue is the fact that they use it to basically just talk about Mr. Negative. I don't give a shit about Mr. Negative. I want to know with Peter, is he gonna take down the Kingpin? I want to know about is with the maker. What's going on with him? You know. But all right. So number 7. Saturday Morning Ninja Turtles, number 129. Basically, there's been a pantheon of space alien criminals that basically want to take down turtles. They've been taking their chances. Who could be the leader? Krang basically says, he's like, you guys are pretty much fucked up already. Just devote yourself to me, work as a team. He's like, and she's like, no, I can do it. She has a natural ability to basically talk to rats, unlike the Rat King, who basically controls them. She ends up basically teaming up with the Rat King in this issue. Shocker, right? And pretty much has the Rat King lead the turtles, even though Raphael says this is a trap. And Donatello says, it's not a trap if you know it's a trap, right? And they walk into the trap. Of course.
If you know it's a trap. It's a face-off.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's the Peter Quill kind of mentality.
That's perfect.
So they get there and oh, look, and oh, Leo, I guess what it is. It's a trap. And Leo's just quiet. It's as they're fighting, she reveals herself, and then she has this little space ray gun that turns the rats into giant rats. She betrays the Rat King, and so Michelangelo, I love him, man. He ends up saving the day by turning the two of them against each other. And he says, dude, you gave our dad one of the hardest fights of his life, and he's a master ninja. You're totally the equal of the Rat Queen, and don't let her tell you otherwise. And I love a rabbit. Dude, have you lost your mind? Now it's not the time to boost the morale of the villains, and then they two of them start fighting, and this allows them to basically Michelangelo to basically destroy the device, the ray gun, and they return the rats to normal circle. Then we get a football special, I guess, or fastball special, but basically Leo turns himself into a shell, and I love this, Zach. Look at the art. Turns him into a shell and throws him at the Rat King's face. I've never seen the turtles go into their shell in any of the series.
I don't think I've ever seen a Ninja Turtle do that.
It's so great.
That's interesting. Props to them for that. Remembering turtles could do
so
that.
At the end of this, because Michelangelo saved the day, he gets a double XL pizza to hold himself. And I love this. He's like, you get so Master Splinter gives a little mess speech at the end, and he's like, Michelangelo, chew your food. Oops, sorry, Master Splinter, because he's chewing right in his ear on the couch. But yeah, next issue. Look kind of creepy. It's Krang or something alien.
Krang's a weirdo.
But yeah, so overall I thought it was a very good issue. And I guess eventually we're gonna have Yusaki Yojimbo showing up.
Makes sense.
So been waiting for this. He showed up in the original cartoon.
Showed up in the video game too.
Yep. Like I said, the other thing cool about the whole entire series, the Saturday Morning Adventures, it's a tie-in to the actual animated series. So they reference heavily animated series where this happened and all the previous stuff. So it's really cool. All right, number 11, or actually number 6 is number 11. It's issue 11 of the Digital Unlimited. Yeah, everything's now a prelude to the DC KO, which I have no interest in. So I'll probably be dropping this book after that until the event's done. The only only DC book that's not going to be tied to the event, at least that I've been reading, is Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern is the only book that's not going to be tied into the KO event, KO series. So I'll probably continue picking that up. But overall, this was a really cool issue. Last issue, Mr. Terrific was talking to one of the parademons they had captured in the park several issues ago. And he was in the stasis chamber. Only for him to be he's an incubator, and he basically all these parademons come out, and so he has to deal with the parademons all by himself because everyone's busy because they're busy dealing with Time Trapper, who pretty much is about to go nuclear. and this all takes place in the Watchtower, deep in space. They are using in order to operate or in order to save his life. They are operating him. They're using Metamorpho through with basically Jonathan or not John, but John Jones, Martian Manhunter, in his ear, telling him what to do, how to save his life. Because I think the problem is because the only one who can get near him is Metamorpho because different chemical makeup. Because everyone near him ages rapidly. There's some kind of like time distortion. So everything's being turned apart. We see deep down in Markovia, we have Power Girl and Geoforce. I always love seeing Geoforce and Captain Atom. They're facing off against the evil Legion of Superheroes. And what they realize though is that the closer they get to this pit, whatever it is down there, the more evil they become or obsessed to become. And so they end up pulling back. Here's the only problem with this. Power Girl is off hanging out with Red Tornado and Simon Baz. There's no continuity whatsoever in DC right now. I'm sorry. So Justice League Unlimited must not take place in the same universe as Justice League Red. And Green Lantern must not also take place in any of these universes either because Simon Baz is in Justice League Red. But somehow he's showing up in like their off-world and stuff. So I don't know what's going on with DC, but Mr. Terrific ends up pretty much forming a plan off. He admits it was a huge mistake because he's still distraught over basically what happened with Airboy or whatever his name is, or
Airwave.
So it's something like that. And so he forms a plan because he's like, I need help. He's like, here, dude, Flash, I'm gonna basically lead these creatures to you. So when they hit the actual like portal or whatever, time the distillation, whatever you want to call it, distortion field.
Distortion field.
Yeah, it basically, literally, they're gone because Flash uses a little tornado fist. He does blows him into it, and then saves Mr. Terrific. And then Time Trapper is revived, and he's like, "Dude, it's like I came here for a purpose to warn you, but it seems like we're already too late. Someone else is going to tell you what's going on." And we see at the end, everyone tell the Watchtower to come here. We get Booster Gold. He's been saved by Superman. So this is going to be continuing Justice League, the Omega Act Special #1, leading into KO. So, Zach will be on the channel because you're going to be collecting KO, right? I'm not going to be collecting it.
What's that?
The KO.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I said you guys will be getting your
That's going to be a blast.
You're going to be getting all your DC KO news through Zach because I'm not reading it. I don't know if Geekeasy might dibble into it. So, but not Krang, Mutagen Man. Saw him on Me TV Tunes the other day. No. He has powers like Chameleon unless he mutated different in the episodes. Who are you talking about? Who has powers like Chameleon?
Krang?
Krang?
I think he's talking about Krang.
He was, but I mean, Krang was just a guy in a big old battle suit in the cartoon series. He was an alien Bob. That's all he was. He didn't have any special powers. So, all right. Top 5.
Excuse me.
You're welcome. Have some more church chicken.
No, I had pizza.
Oh, you got churches by you?
There is one by me. I've never been to it.
Oh, I thought one of you would have been to churches.
I used to go when I was younger. My dad used to get chicken from there a lot.
Yeah.
It's all Popeyes or like
okay.
local places.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the last page of the Turtles book. Okay, it's not Krang. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, a combo would be nice. Like here's That's why I didn't understand what you said. Not Krang Mutagen Man. I was like, what? All right, number 5 this week. It's just an awesome issue. Continuing the whole entire Starbreaker Supremacy Part 5. And I guess that's it. The final one, right? I don't think there's another one. No, there's going to be one more part.
There's got to be at least one more part.
The Green Atlantic Corps. But just a fantastic story. Jeremy Adams is basically proving that he is a good writer. I mean, a great writer. We get years ago, we had John and Hal coming out of a diner. And basically, John's like, dude, I wish you would let me pay for you. He's like, dude, I'll tell you what, the next time you save the universe, that you can pay. Until then, I like that you owe me one. And this two kind of bonding. And he basically, and I love how he kind of admits to like the John. He's like, dude, when they first brought you in as a Green Lantern, I was jealous, because this is my thing, and it kind of like had a little heart-to-heart bonding moment there, So if that's a clue right there, them talking about everything that's going on, them bonding, I'm like, oh no. As we get in, we see them. They're in the ship. They're fleeing back to Oa, so they have to get word out to Oa. Meanwhile, John's back on Oa. So Hal and the others must have found a way to turn the emotions back on, because now they have their emotions back, and they realize, So now now it's up to us, and they're like, dude, like to what? Or Odyssey, she's like, what? To fight these guys? How many are there? Sundays are there? Like, there's too many, says John. So John decides to basically go and the science cells. He said, we're going to recruit people. He's like, and the science cells are all full of the different lanterns from a different, where it's the blue, the yellow, the orange, the red.
I don't think the blue were criminals, but
what do you mean? But they're on the science anyway. Yeah, but a lot of them are in the science cells.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, dude, if you guys, and we don't never really see an eye to eye on each other, but if you want your freedom, start over now. We'll forgive you, whatever. But we need you, otherwise we're all dead. And so he ends up freeing them. And I love they show you like everybody's in there, cameos. I'm not sure who the girl on this girl is.
That's the princess girl, like the one with the bat wings.
This here?
I think. I could be wrong.
I was like, who's the hottie? Because the other one has like the weird, the wings on head. So she must.
She also had like a gimp mask on that was hiding her hair. Too,
oh, is that what it was? Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we see our fleas in there too. We Deck Stars in there.
Yeah, that was Bleeze. That was Bleeze. She's on the or unless that's the yellow. There's Lissa Drac, who's a yellow lantern.
Well, it looks like the red lanterns are all on this page up here, and that turns out we got the guy like he had, and then we got Atrocitus. Yeah. So he's gonna pretty much gonna let them all join in. While that's going on, we're setting up for what's going to happen in the next Green Lantern Corps issue. Turns out Ellie and Kid Lantern pretty much was hijacked last issue. She was possessed. And Simon Bass went to go help her. Simon Bass got possessed by whatever is in the gauntlet. And he goes release the content and basically gestation commencing. Basically, they're gonna whoever is in there wants to grab himself a new body. And while that's going on, that we learned that basically that's Kronos or Krona, an older villain from the past coming back. So they let everybody pretty much come back in out of the thing, and he recruits all of them. Hal sacrifices his life, or not Hal, but Jonathan does. Jonathan basically goes to restart all the lanterns. He's like, tell Hal something over me. Tell him it's my turn to pick up the tab. And by doing this, he pretty much restores everybody, the lanterns, and we get this cool kind of like power up stuff. I believe who's the artist on these? Zermenko.
Zermenko, I think.
Yeah, the art here is just awesome. And then we get this cool, like you saw in the thumbnail, them all giving their different oaths. Even Ellie gets the construct gets her own ring. Or no, that's not Ellie. That's the girl, isn't it? Teen Lantern.
Ellie is the John Stewart's sister that he made into a construct.
Is that the construct that's getting the ring?
I think it's the construct. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a real girl.
Yeah. So it turns out she's real. Enough willpower, he willed her into existence, and they're gonna go fight them in the next issue. I guess that's be the final act, right?
Of that arc, probably.
Stormbreaker Supremacy concludes, and Green Lantern Corps number 9
concludes.
So,
there you go.
so very like an epic story. This is kind of, and the way Jeremy Adams is writing this, kind of feels like he does like when he does these animated movie stuff, storytelling. You're getting towards the end of the movie, and now everyone's restored. The hope's restored. Everyone's got their powers. Kind of like Brightest Day after Blackest Night. You know. So we'll see what happens now, because now the emotional spectrum, is now full on. Well, there'll be a lot more battle and stuff. I just love that Larfleeze is still the only one who there was an Orange Lantern, because it's mine. That's like the longest ongoing joke I've had. DC. All right, number 4 for this week is Hyde Street, number 9. So we met this doctor last issue because the little scout boy decided to basically put on the werewolf mask, that he found in basically X-ray's eyes, like basically little storage thing, and it ended up becoming a real mask and him into a real werewolf, and they're trying to get it off of him. So this is an origin story for the Doctor. He's placed in 1946. It's back when he was like 12, or when he was a boy. And him coming into this, he explains how his dad was a doctor or surgeon, but he was barred because of the surgeries he did. He did plastic surgery on people, and it was kind of frowned upon. So he did it in private, and it's a study. And you see this kid come in there, and he's literally full of no emotion. Talking to this woman, he's like, "Oh," and he's kind of confronts her, and she's like, and he basically blunt says like, because she somehow her dream, how she had this dream, how she knows she's gonna be a movie star and all stuff. He's like, I had a dream that woke me up tonight too. He said, you were standing in front of a screen, centauri saw. Men whistled, women wept. He smiled like you meant it. Then the lights went out, and you were alone again. You had married a man who had read poetry and broke your heart, and the man who played baseball and broke your spirit. You died in a building full of telephones. No one answered. And you kept asking me what your new name should be, so I gave you one. It was my mother's name. And the kid, and then it goes flashback when the kid basically came across his mother, who was being operated by his dad, and then she died. He said her name was Marilyn, hinting that she might have been Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
Yeah. Or something like that. It says that night something bled into the boy. Certainty that nothing beautiful comes without a cost. All the pills and stuff. It says like, just ask those who paid the price. August 5th, 1952, the world was born, the death of a legend. But behind the curtain, another story played out. Dr. Ego's father staged it that the pills became the headlines of the grief that gripped the nation and gave her a new face and no one would recognize. She made her escape and was never seen again. Some say young Ego was there and helping his father, and only Ego knows what happened that night and where Marilyn went next. So. And then we see this woman here. She basically is like, I want a new face, and this we see here on the front here, kind of like looking right here. So this is the origin story for if you remember the two nurses from last issue that worked for the Doctor, this is their origin story in this. We get to learn who they are. This woman came to him. Now the son's growing up. He wants a surgeon, and she basically goes to help her, give her a new smile. And she basically got the point where she said like her smile ended up costing her, and basically she became a recluse. This other woman who was so obese wanted to become skinny, so he kept doing liposuction. The woman who basically smile stuff, who recluse white woman, and hated the neighbor's dog because it kept barking at her. So she basically poisoned it, killed it. The other woman, the one who was obese, who was addicted to liposuction, ended up driving our personal maid to suicide. She jumped out of the building on the window and landed in the car, killing, instantly crushing her. So he ended up. That's why you see them right there. That's the two. They're now working for him as the nurses. He brought him. He says. He says now Nurse D and Nurse Stowe, they run Ego's office side by side, gossiping behind latex smiles, easing their own grotesque by delighting in the flaws of each other. Unlike Dr. Eugene, Ego, and the rest of us residents, each promise a chance at escape once our 10,000 souls are delivered. Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, him doing other faces for the people. And people with burn victims, just pro bono. So then we get back to the case with him. And Mr. X-Ray needs his glasses back, and the nurses come up. We get a new patient. So he basically he's like, dude, I'm busy. He's like, but she has her prom next month, and she wants a new nose, a new chin, and an eyebrow lift, and she absolutely does not need it. He's like, dude, prep room 3. He's like, Dr. Eagle, my glasses. He's like, dude, he said it takes the wearer time to adjust to the lenses, as you know, take them off before they fed, and the glasses will revolt, and they may even break, and you surely don't want that. The boy is fused with the mask because he's a monster. To take it off, he'll have to have a moment where he isn't one. Though you and I both know that moment may never come. And pretty much she's like, I need my glasses. He's like, dude, oh, I know how painful it is to see without them, Frederick. You're losing your sight of what makes you human. I know your secret, Frederick. You're not the voice of the reason of High Street. You're the biggest narcissist of all. You wear your glasses not to see us, but to avoid seeing yourself. Meanwhile, sister, whatever, from the sisterhood, serious. She had her car has revealed something horrible. She goes to see Mr. Oddman. She said, I need your help. It's like, and then of course there's a card of the boy on there, Boy Scout. So we're gonna meet a new character. And it says next, the sad story of sisterhood. So that's the next issue. We're gonna get to learn more about her. Or origin story. Said if there's one trade you need to be picked up, Brandon, I know you're not buying new issues, but I do recommend you get these trades at least. Or anybody who's not collecting these are all floppies. Pick up the trades. They're just fun. These are just fun stories. All right. Number 3 is Mad Cave's newest title, one that Zach should be picking up, The Phantom. If you're a fan of any of the older Phantom books or even the movie that came out in the 90s, just an awesome character. Ray Fox is the writer. Russell Olson is the artist, and Taylor Esposito on the coloring. Art's decent, for what it is. It's not superb art like we get with other books, but basically a plane crashes and Phantom pretty much has to he's like, dude, there's fuel, don't shoot, you're gonna die. And of course, as he's being patched up, his scars getting, his face is being patched up. His girlfriend says, dude, you know how I hate when you start in the middle of the story. Go back to the beginning, explain exactly what happened. He's like, fine, don't worry. And he flirts with her, He's like, he's like, so basically then we go to the flashback. He talks about this village, where he lives, stuff nearby, and people, and it's basically it shows him pretty much having fun with the villagers, even though it's like swelling heat. And it's like I love what he says. He's like, the narrative says the Phantom is training in the courtyard of the Bandar, enjoying himself. The exercise feels good, and the wind gives him a respite of the heat, or from the heat. The laughter of the children is infectious. They mock him gently, mimicking his kicks and his strikes. They tease him when he wipes his brow, ask him if he's old and needs a rest. They adore him. They watch him his every move. He knows this, and he adores them. and all of their beautiful village. That's why his world is about to be turned upside down. He learns that from his childhood friends that the father, who's the chief of the whole the town village there, is dying, and he wants his son to take over. So the two kind of have a heart-to-heart kind of meeting, here, until they overhear a plane crashing into the jungle. So Phantom knows it's not good because it's coming from the north. The north is where a lot of the drug trades and stuff are coming. All the bad people. So he goes there and he immediately finds a cocaine there, and I'm thinking, the last time I saw something like this is where we got Cocaine Bear. Hopefully, no animals get into the cocaine. But he goes there, and of course, letting the people die. He saves them. We also learned he's got his own wolf. I forgot about that. His dog is named Devil. His little companion fights alongside with him. Of course, because Devil's there, it helps them basically, they basically turn the tides against whoever villains are. So basically, we get back to the present day where he's basically talking to her, and he tells her, she's like, wait, so this means, you have to go to work, so you should be careful, my love, and call me if you need me. He's like, I always need you. And then they show the two dog and him and the dog running. They go outside and they listen, and they hear the helicopters coming in because now whoever wanted those drugs is going to come looking for them. Because we don't know if those two guys were stealing the drugs or they're on a mission for the guy. But I'm going to go with they stole the drugs probably. So the helicopter lands, and they go into there are two teams. There's a squad leading where the village is, where his friend lives, and then there's ones going to where the plane wreckage is, looking for the cocaine. And he says, as Eve, it says, the man, he is Azif Singh, known as much for rationalism as ruthlessness. He commands his troops with the easy confidence of an experienced warrior, respond by fear and hesitation, motivated by fear and respect, and both hard-earned, Yeah. So as Asif goes to the village, to cause a scene and stuff, he decides to go basically take down the other crew that's outside him, and then he says I need to go back. He's like, and I get close to the village and see what they do when they notice their guys aren't calling in, and let them make a mistake if they make a mistake. So then we get the guy here. He's like, people are not here. He's like, we just, it's like, hey, I'm so and so. It's like, of the Singh Brotherhood. Perhaps you heard of us. Perhaps you've heard of me as well. And because the guards are searching the towns, they see that the guy's chief's dad's and thing. He's like, I don't care who he is. Carry him if you have to. Everyone has to be in center town square. And the guy says, dude, I'm Gurren. My father is the chief of this village. He's very ill and should not be taken from his bed. He's like, oh, had I known, I would not have allowed it. Return him to his rest back immediately. He will be guarded, but not interfered with. He's like, dude, I'm not leaving him with the only mercenaries. It's like, do you serve as chief in instead? Basically threatens the guy's life. I'll kill you and the rest of your people if you don't fall in line. Because the one thing Phantom says about this guy, he's not, now that he knows that this village exists, he's going to roll over it. He's not going to allow them to live peacefully. Even though they have nothing to do with them, they don't mean him any harm. And at the end, he's watching. He's like, because he's watching the whole entire time. He sees the guy with the gun to the head of his friend. He's getting ready to kill him. So he's like, now I have to interfere. Time for waiting is over. Really cool issue for first issue, The Phantom through Mad Cave Publishing. This is cover B by Cannon White. This was $5, $4.99. All right, then the final two. All right. The Invisible Man. I got the incentive cover. So like 120 or whatever. Basically has from the scene in the movie where he's walking, before he gets to the little town, little inn thing. So he needs a place to set up his lab. He's already invisible. He's like, I need to be alone and disturbed in a quiet room and a roaring fire. Sometimes a man needs silence and solitude after a difficult experiment. So I'm not sure this is a printing error, but like some of the dialogue, like I said, like you see here, is very I'll zoom in or not. I won't. Come on.
What are we looking at?
I'm trying to get the font to zoom in.
The dialogue, the word bubbles.
Yeah, the word bubbles. Trying to get the zoom in here.
Uh,
Yeah, if it will or not. Yeah.
so what's wrong with it?
Well, it's really funky in some parts. It's really kind of like fuzzy print. Yeah, but overall, it's Danny's doing the art. But I noticed that sometimes the lettering seems a little bit like you can see it more here in this one, in the top bubble here. By the word, she's like she's walking. It says it gets a little bit like the print didn't go all the way through, but overall, it's a good story. Second issue of the story. It kind of seems like we're kind of getting the Frankenstein kind of part leading up to him becoming the monster, and that's just gonna be the story. And that's it. When he becomes the Invisible Man, and it's over, which I'm okay with. I mean, but I like having new stuff. Everybody's seen the movie. Go watch the movie. We don't need to retread the movie. This is a prequel to that. Basically, he learned that in this basically, it starts off with him walking around with his fiance, who is of the man of the daughter of the man that he works for, scientist, and as he's walking around, we're shown that there's this cat that's invisible, that's going around slaughtering mice. And there's even a report. He said like they heard the news like or some girl said that she saw like there was could have sworn they heard a cat yowling in the stalls but could not hide it. And then one girl swore she saw a fish walking itself down the back alley to see a floating fish because he and he's like, oh, how strange indeed. That's kind of weird. Turns out he'd been experimenting on animals. He basically been putting out food, tainting it, and then capturing him, bringing him back to the lab in secret. And the cat was the first one to get away and caught his face. So he hasn't been able to like get the cat, but it shows him in the rain just dumping the animals in the river. Like baits them and kills them. And then he says, like, I feel haunted by this cat. Like this cat's taunting me. It was because the cat he had the serum was a Richard one, a one-eyed cat. He had become a creature of the alleyways for years, probably bearing the scars of his felled enemies. It sprung to life upon an injection, scraping my arm and biting my hand. I managed to escape the laboratory and out in the street. Then the rumors had started. This spectral creature stalking the streets in the night unseen. It was too clever to capture again. I was certain of that, but I had felt invisible eyes and on me each time I walked the night road. So while that's going on, the cat's been watching him. Little evil black cat shit. Literally, it was a black cat. Dr. Kemp decides to bring his own chimpanzee into the lab for experimenting. And of course, the other guy, was Invisible Man's first name? Jack something. Anyway, he is pretty much goes and complains like, dude, this is going to interfere with my work. He's like, well, it's not, he's like, I said my experiments are crucial phase, if I get my own coordinates. He's like, dude, I like that. So basically the dude's like, hey, I like both of you, boys, you're big dreamers and all that stuff, but a little competition is healthy, and these are not but these are your pet projects, not what I pay to do. I'm able to support your side pursuits, but you will have to share your workspace. And I love he says like, with a damn monkey. So then he basically, and here's the thing about this: before he even has a serum in, he's fantasizing about murdering the guy, the father of the girl he's engaged to, because he hates him. He feels like they all talk down to him. They don't respect him. And so then he does something normally he's not supposed to do, because you're not really, and this time you're not really supposed to like kiss or all that stuff before you're married. So it was proper way back then. So he pulls her aside and kisses her. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, you'd say, you said if nobody could see." She's like, "I want to be your wife. Then we could show our affection in front of anyone, and they wouldn't say anything." He kind of shuns away from her, She's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Your father's allowed Kemp in this dreadful laboratory, and a dreadful ape in my laboratory will make my." Basically complains about the ape again, and and she asks about your success. And she says, like, "I know what you're doing here. I won't ask you about what you're doing, but I hope I said, like, she supports him because she loves him, even though he won't tell her what's going on. So what he does, he goes back to the lab that night, opens the little gate, the little door on top, and lets the cat in. And of course, the ape's like freaking out. He's like, the ape knows there's basically danger, but can't tell where it's come from. And the cat does literally. It's like, yeah, it's like I sensed it as I'd always sensed it. The tenor had changed. In this mission, we are aligned. We are both indivisible masters of the world and the prying barbarous eyes of lesser beings who provoked us. And he basically lets the cat kill the ape. I know, it's very morbid. Of course, the next day, the guy's like, "Dude, my ape's dead." He's like, "Yeah, a cat killed it." He's like, "What do you mean a cat killed it? There's the body. I got rid of it, because it was this grotesque, and I left the chimp there." I mean, well, because it's your chimp. And the guy says, like, "No." He's like, "Dude, this is sabotage. Griffin did this, Liberty." He's like, the doctor then finally speaks up for Jack. And says, "I won't hear another word on this, Camp. Get this foul thing out of my sight and clean this mess up." It's like, "Fine, I'll get the damn wheelbarrow." And I love it because, like, Jack's pretty much become, like, kind of almost a dick. More. And he's like, "What's with the glasses?" He said, "I'm going driving at night. You need something so you can see." But, so we learned more things about it. Jack, basically, Jack's fiance, I think her name was Rose, or something like that. Her father, basically, she learns more, or she tells him that her father actually respects him, something he never really saw from any of them, because they always kind of like he never really stood up for him. So Jack's kind of like taken back a little bit by this, but he's very on the cusp of brilliance, and he's trying to perfect this, the serum. And now that he's got the DNA from the cat, because he let the cat in so the cat could kill the ape, and that way he could take a blood sample from whatever blood from the cat came out, in the fight. So now he's gonna I guess it's only issue 2. So I think there's like 4 issues, 4 or 5. We'll see what happens. But really cool book. Number 1 book for me is Mortal Legend Batman. This has been fun. We're come across and Batman in space.
Again, last time nobody liked that because of the underwear on face.
This is like it's a huge Elseworld story. It's kind of like a Common Rider kind of thing in a sense.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like this shadow world, and like these creatures come forth, and there's been like these 3 devices that were given to the people that could battle against the monsters, kind of like Power Ranger Morphers in a sense, or Kamen Rider Morphers units. And so we see this in the Keystone Lanes behind Proctorate Space. I love Keystone, little hints for Flash. And they're on this little cheap transit ship, and they're being boarded by space pirates. The space pirates, like the captain on the little vessel, is like, "Don't worry." He's like, "We'll just give the pirates, we'll pay them off, and they'll be fine." But this time, it's basically the pirates have a new leader. And he's like, "No, this time we're not taking this money, And like, guys, like, "I paid you off." He's like, and pretty much chokes him out. This guy with long hair gets to set up, but this chick, Gina Carano chick, just kind of pushes him down, tells him not to get involved. And the 2 other guys, crewmates with him, were kind of like, "Dude, it's not how we do this. Like, what are you doing?" And he basically snaps their neck, kills them instantly. And we get the little snap. Somebody's been reading Transformers with Dana Warren Johnson. They're taking the words in the blood. So then he basically he's got 2 dead people. He basically puts the woman and the child into the space pod. The old man's pleading. There's another old man. He's like, "Oh, wait, there's not enough room in there." And pretty much he kills the old man. and goes for new recruits. And we get to learn later on that this actually the old man that he ends up recruiting is actually Bruce Wayne, who went undercover, left his morpher. He's talking to Alfred, who is an AI, artificial intelligence robot. That's kind of cool. And it was kind of advising about this. You're gonna put yourself in danger. It's not wise. He's like, well, hey. Then he says, like, before Roger Elliott passed me the mantle onto me, I had to prove to him that I was strong enough to carry it. So it seems that it's time to still prove that that I can. So he leaves the little morpher belt with Alfred thing, and then goes in there. He ends up being taken down to this little refugee planet where all of them live, all the bandits, and they're given like a test, initiation test. So they're all basically whoever can survive 5 minutes without dying, becomes a new recruit. Of course, he gets his ass kicked at first after taking out a few of them, but then he's like, here's his voice, get up, Bruce. Where years ago he was trained by Lady Shiva, an off-world planet, and teaches him how to push through the pain, and not it's like it's a greatness requires a curiosity focus on one question. Most of their lives in the graves not knowing what their limit. So basically, he's pushing forward and trying to find out what his limit is. He gets back up, starts taking him out. Of course, the bad guy shows up because the bad guy is Bane. It was the guy from before, the guy we saw earlier on the first page, actually on the very top. He is one that's been tainted by one of the shadow creatures, and they can sense Batman. Bruce, because Bruce has been touched by the dark matter energy, and so now he's gonna basically go against Batman in order. And so Bruce calls out to Alfred. Alfred sends down this little thing, and he grabs it and touches it in the morpher, and he turns into Batman, and it's Batman versus Bane. A lot of bright colors, a lot of flashy action in here too, a lot of sci-fi, and Batman, pretty much, he's about to get taken down by Bane here, and Bane's like, how pathetic you are. It's like, it's like, I thought you're supposed to be like this great person and stuff. So you should say and Bruce says, this violence, it's and it's consumed him. If you keep following him, it'll consume you too. Or no, this is Alfred talking to him. You'll end up dying for his ambitions or dying, or actually, no, he's talking to people. All the people around him. He says, this violence is consumed him. If you keep following him, it'll consume you too. You'll end up dying for his ambitions or dying by his hand, or too many have already done today. I think you'll know that. Help me end them. So they have these little things that they have to use when they capture, basically like tractor beams, when they want to capture like ships, and because their whole job on their planet, they're scavengers. They take apart ships and sell the pieces. So they use that to grab Bane, and then and Bane's like, dude, you can't do this. This isn't worthy. It's like if you do this, you'll never know. Never if you could have beat me. And Bruce is like, I don't give a shit about that. And he charges them up and pretty much destroys them. Leaving, and then of course it ends with Robin and Nightwing wondering where Batman is, and it kind of feel like he's kind of they're facing off one of the shadow creatures, which is supposed to be their goal they've been doing, and after some they kept the humor for Nightwing and Robin. Robin ends up going Flamebird, or Nightwing does after Robin gets hurt, and take out the creature, and at the end he's like, dude, we can't just keep scraping we've given Bruce long enough. It's time to figure out what's going on with Batman. So for the second issue, I said this is very high octane, very high colorful stuff, kind of very manga-esque anime. I really hope they adapt this into an animated universe or animated movie. It would look cool. But yeah, this is my number one book of the week for Elseworlds. So you have All Out Batman, and then you have another All Out Batman. This feels like it. All right, and then I just got a few back issues. Let's just start with X Factor number 33, adding to my collection. And then here we got Red Sonja #1 from Volume 3. And then I got number 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And then 13. So I'm just missing issue 12, and I'll have the whole entire series. So I had to use my insert credit at my shop, so I figured I might as well get some more back issues that I've been wanting to read. Still have like 100 or something, almost $200 left. Insert credit from the books I sold. It's kind of nice. Literally, I sell books and I just recycle for new books. It's only like I guess it's kind of like redundant a little bit, but if I can do that with the new books, can just keep selling the new books, buying new books, you know. Otherwise, it's kind of defeats the purpose. I'm running out of room. I'd rather just keep rotating stock. But all right, Zach.
All right.
Tell us about the DC universe, the new history of the DC.
Talked about this, so I don't need to talk about it.
You can give your thoughts on it, though.
Talked about this, so we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, you can.
This was really freaking good. Spider-Man Wolverine, issue number 5. This wraps up the first story arc. You find out who this villain is, Dread Shadow. Kind of fixes some stuff with Peter Parker and his twins. I don't like she's his twin, but the sister kind of
Teresa
in some stuff. Is she really his sister? Is she not? Kind of goes into stuff like that. Also goes into some little details about his parents, like final moments. Was Wolverine the killer? Stuff like that. Really good ending, though. I felt it was. It's definitely not the finale, even though it is the final issue of this arc. Because all of the Spider-Man and Wolverine villains who have been teaming up, I guess, are going to continue to be teamed up. So really good work here, though.
What is your? So you don't want to talk about Green Lantern or the other Phantom? What's your?
Already been talked about. I mean,
I
don't have anything to add on to what you've already said.
Well, did you like the books or do you hate the books? That's all I want to know.
I love Green Lantern. Green Lantern was great.
What do you think of Phantom?
Yeah, it was okay. It was pretty good. I have to read another issue or two before I make up my mind on it. I like the way it opened. The art wasn't really The art was okay.
I want more Killer, the dog. That's what I want.
I
want more.
It was okay. It wasn't the best book I've read from Matt Cave yet. We got Black Cat issue number 2. It kind of has that Miss Marvel homage to it, which I actually really appreciate it. She busts up these mafiosa guys who are, what are they doing? They're kind of like fences for ancient like vampire relics and stuff.
Is that Richie Jameson on the cover?
It is Jameson. He makes an appearance.
It looks like a 30-year-old Jameson.
He makes an appearance in the final page because he's going to be, I guess, a thorn in her side going forward. But yeah, she tells these mafia guys to stop fencing and stealing vampire relics. They don't do that, so she shows up. She's got a henchman or two that kind of help her out, and that's pretty good. This is fairly entertaining because there's some little cracks in here about how all the big heroes are off doing soul searching and asking existential questions, which is kind of funny because when you read the big name hero books, it's like that is what they're doing. They're not doing the action stuff that we want them to do. So it's a nice little meta commentary there woven in here. Yeah, Daredevil shows up in here, has a fun little cameo with Daredevil. This was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. G. Willow Wilson's 2 for 2 with this.
Do you know what that's an homage to?
Miss Marvel?
Yep.
All I see is boobs.
I mean, they are out there. So is Aunt May, who is not in this book. I assume that's Aunt May. There's no other old woman in this book. Spider-Man's not in this book. Mary Jane's not in this book, so I don't know where all them are coming from. Or Rhino, but whatever.
Is it cover A?
This is the one that I got.
Probably is cover
yeah,
A.
it's the $4 one, so it probably is the cover A, yeah.
Oh.
We got Ultimate Spider-Man number 21. Very enjoyable issue. I dug it. I like the twist at the end. It's like the Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones, like that chaos coming in towards the end. I dug it. And then tied for number 1, because they do kind of go together. We've got Superman number 30, and then we've got Justice League Unlimited number, what is this number? 11. Superman number 30. Superman goes into the future. He's the Superboy Prime who turned code on him in 29 to join the evil Darkseid Legion. So this is Superman trying to save Booster Gold and get back to the present because the Legion wants to kill Booster Gold because his blood has time travel properties in it. It's science fiction nonsense. But some really fun fourth wall breaking, courtesy of Superboy Prime, who is now becoming one of my favorite fourth wall breaking comic book characters. Really fun Dan Jurgens joke in here. So yeah, this is great. And then it ties into Justice League Unlimited 11, which is honestly the most fun I've had reading a Justice League book so far in this run. Watching them trying to keep a space station from falling apart while Metamorpho operates on a time-traveling doomsday, while Mr. Terrific fights parademons. It's just fun. It's just a blast. This artist, too, I mean, God, dog it. This wasn't even Dan Mora, but it was a really good guest artist. I don't think he's quite at Mora's caliber, but he was really, really good. D. Giandomenico? Something like that. But, yeah, this was fantastic. So, that and Superman. Superman, honestly, probably was my favorite issue, though. The stuff that goes on, the twist in that. That was Dan Mora, I believe. Yeah, that was Mora.
Yeah, Dan Mora's on there.
So, yeah, really, really good stuff. And then like because there's also like a little Lex Luthor bit in there also. It's not all Superman in the future. There's a Lex Luthor bit because he's off being silent, not talking, so Superman can't find him. So yeah. And that's it. Just 6 books for me. Was going to be 5, but then I saw the Phantom, and I thought, why not? So it was Mad Cave. I feel like it was a pretty good little investment, at least to try for the first issue.
That's all you got? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Jeff?
Got 5. Because most of the orders didn't show up at my store yesterday. None of the Image. Most of the DC. So I didn't get squat this week.
Yeah, that's.
And
I have. So you have 2 shops within 10 minutes each other. One got everything. One only got Marvel.
And we have 2 shops in the town. Both are Bosco's. One gets comics and all the stuff. The other stuff doesn't. The other one doesn't do comics. And the nearest comic shop, as far as I know, is Fairbanks. Is 8-hour drive, and I'm not doing that. So I've never been to Fairbanks. I've lived up here since 71. Never been to Fairbanks. Don't intend to because it sucks. And I had a chance to read 1 book this week.
What was that one?
Which was this one.
Nice one. That's actually the first book I read today.
And
Excuse me.
I haven't been keeping up on what was this? I didn't know what was going on in the other one, so I was kind of lost. I wasn't really entertained in it, and I did not like the art.
Unlimited?
Yes.
Oh.
And so I'm going to give it a couple more issues. If I don't like it any better, I'm going to drop it. Okay, then I did a I don't know if you've heard of the series called Cemetery Kids.
Nope.
I think what I was confused with was it might have been Graveyard Kids. So I thought this was it. But I picked up this one that says Cemetery Kids Run Rabbit. And I thought it might have been the Graveyard Kids. It wasn't. And I tried to go for the first issue, about 1 and 2, and I got like 4 or 5 pages in. I'm like, okay, this isn't it, and I don't like it. I think it's about basically it's 2000XX, so I guess it's saying it's in the future somewhere. Biotechnology is the norm. Cities around the globe are crowded. Many live below the poverty line. Escapism is in high demand. For most, video games are the answer. And then they have Dreamwave, which is a console which allows people to play games in their dreams. Then I guess, of course, bad stuff starts happening to them. And I only got like 4 or 5 pages in. Didn't like the art. Didn't like the story. So I just bought 2 issues of stuff that I'm not going to bother reading or finishing. And then
it's a continuation, or that's the second volume of the story too.
Yeah. Then I have this, which I have not read. This has been a really good series so far, even though it is by the dreaded DS. He seems to be keeping his, so far keeping it out of it or down, his politics out of it or down low. And then this, which I have not read yet either. And I missed your recap, and I do know from Zach that there is sort of a red wedding sort of twist at the end, which didn't give away anything, so cool. But supposedly everything will be coming in soon. They already have next week's stuff already there, but I don't know when I'm going to be getting the rest of the stuff. It's like supposed to be getting Hyde Street. I wanted that Vampirella Halloween special. I left my list of the stuff that I was supposed to pull that week.
Yeah, I didn't pick up the Vampirella lesbian issue. That's what it was.
Oh, it was? I didn't get a chance to look at it because I would have if I'd seen it. It wouldn't have. I may not have gotten it, but it was.
I had no idea who the writer was. Some new person I've never heard of before. And I looked inside, and the first page I opened to is her kissing the bad guy, the girl. I'm like, oh, it's just like the Red Sonja one.
Yeah. Does anybody get the reference? I want my $2. Guy on a bicycle.
If you watch,
better off dead.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
We've been using that for years.
Yeah, we've been using that for years on I Love Comics.
Yeah, that is one of the top 3 funniest movies ever done. I will die on that hill. Airplane, Blazing Saddles, and that top 3. I will die on that hill. But that's just me.
In what order?
It switches depending on my mood, but usually Airplane, then Blazing Saddles, then Better Off Dead. But it can switch.
See, Blazing Saddles would be my order for that one, and then Better Off Dead, then Airplane. But
I did get to meet Peter Graves. I probably told that story though, huh?
You may have. I don't know. I forget, and then you guys forget. So I don't know.
I got to ask him if you've ever seen a grown man naked, and he thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I guess that's gonna be it for this week then, because went through all my books. Zach went through his books. Breen watched sports.
Sports ball.
What's do we have the Wilma report? No, just kidding.
He's got to contribute something besides scores.
It's like,
hey, I have a feeling this. Speaking of sports, I have the feeling that the Steelers are going to lose this weekend. So,
don't say that. I'm playing their defense in my fantasy league.
Dude, okay, they barely got past the Jets, who suck.
Barely. Their defense got me like 20 points.
They played Seattle and got their asses handed to them like it was the JV playing. Then they barely beat the Patriots, and now they're going to be playing against Minnesota. Who are they? Those guys are halfway decent, aren't they? They're going to get killed. And I'm a Steelers fan. I've been a Steelers fan longer than you've been alive, and they're going to get slaughtered this weekend.
Well, hopefully they're not as soft as as Tim Waltz.
Oh, it can't be that. Nothing's that soft.
A lot of Minnesotans are.
I could make a really terrible joke, but out of respect, I'm not going to.
There's no respect to this channel.
I know, that's why I have to bring it.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh, okay.
Green, have you ever driven a three in the tree?
What?
Have you ever driven a three in the tree?
I must know what that means.
You're making a sexual
Well,
joke.
the gear shift is in the stock on the steering wheel. So it's just kind of like a stick shift, but you shift it up here instead of down there.
No.
Okay. So I saw the 62 like Econoline thing today at a shop, and it was up there, and I was talking to him. I said, I can drive a stick. Do you think I'd be able to drive that? And he's like, no, because you have to know where this. So it was really cool. Then the guy had a Ferrari sitting right next to it too.
I missed out on automatics. Used to have the shift gear would be on the steering wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy had one of the Magnum PI Ferrari sitting right there, which was kind of cool.
Nice. All right. Oh, alrighty then. So no one got the history of the DC Universe issue 3.
No, I didn't get 1 and 2, so I didn't get 3.
Yeah, neither did I.
I just got 1 for the Golden Age stuff and 2 for the Silver Age stuff. I don't need 3 or 4.
Huh? What is even in the 3 this week?
Well, if you give me 2 seconds, maybe a little bit longer than 2 seconds. Here we go.
Yeah, right.
Following the Cataclysm. Oh, that's right, because it's the one after Crisis on Infinite. Because it ends with Crisis on Infinite. Book 2 ended with Crisis on Infinite Earths. DC Universe has changed forever. Torches are passed as legacy heroes like Wally West embrace the mantles of their predecessors.
Post-Crisis. Yeah.
Heroes like Hal Jordan are tempted by darkness. Justice League faces formidable new threats such as Doomsday, Black Hand, and Superboy Prime. So
Maybe African American. Thank you.
80s to 90s, I guess.
The 90s, which we call the pouch and chains era, or at least that's what I call it anyway.
I love the 90s. I'm saying 90s because Impulse is on the cover, and actually it probably goes up to Infinite Crisis because I see Blue Beetle, Hyman Gray as
It's the decade that's known as post-crisis. It's the only one that's decade. I understand. Well, everything's post-crisis, but
it's where everyone's going to go. It's like the Thor.
From 87 to 2000, what 11 or 12?
Yeah.
People
say Black Hand.
There's a difference between post-crisis and pre-Flashpoint. I feel like there's a difference.
Here's a hint. Barry Allen recapping the events through his return. I'm like, what? Is this from him interviewing people? Because he wasn't there.
Well, I mean, I don't know if
I would have rather had like Wally doing it. So it's like, whatever. But
here we go. This will tell.
Also, here's my thing. Here's the thing I don't like is the fact that Barry Allen's writing this. Why it'd make more sense if you had like the Spectre or the what's called the Phantom Man or what is the other guy's name? Phantom Stranger.
Phantom Stranger.
Yeah, having him like do the dialogue and telling the story. Having one of those two. Having Barry type it just feels like at the end he's just gonna like.
Here we go. This issue continues the retelling of the reborn iteration of Prime Earth. Events depicted in this issue span from the aftermath of Crisis on Infinite Earths to the return of Barry Allen in Final Crisis.
Yeah.
So that's where it ends. Final Crisis, which is awful in it.
Thank you for muting.
Final Crisis.
I thought I had. Sorry.
Final Crisis is the events referenced. Cataclysm, Cosmic Odyssey, Death of Superman, Emerald Twilight, Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, The Invasion, The Killing Joke, Legends, Millennium
I thought
Event.
Killing Joke wasn't canon.
Apparently it is now.
Well, I guess the only thing they did pull in Barbara Gordon getting shot, but I guess that was the only part they pulled in. But then I guess the rest of it wasn't supposed to be. But who knows?
No Man's Land, Reign of the Supermen, Resurrection of Hal Jordan, The Rise of Hush, and The War of the Gods. Those are all referenced events. The big ones, at least. So, somebody we know was getting the history of the DC. Was it Jay? Somebody was. Somebody in the chat was. Somebody in our circle was.
Something like that.
But not me.
What is the one? I hate this because I have not been on that website forever. There's for comic books. They're the main comic book hub site. Not Bleeding Cool. It's the other one where everyone went to. You know, what's it called?
Comic Geeks?
No, I'm talking about like news, comic book news.
Oh, I don't even go to Bounty into comics anymore.
Yeah.
Bleeding Cool, I thought.
There's that. I'm talking. There was one that's a lib one, obviously, you know. But
CBR.
That's the one I was trying to figure out.
I haven't heard of CBR. They CBR and comicbook.com. They're both now. It's like comic books aren't even their main thing.
Yeah, I stopped looking months ago. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Let's see if
hey, man, ain't it cool news or nothing, man? Whatever happened to that? Did Harry Knowles die or something?
I don't even know who that is.
There's this thing called Ain't It Cool News from way back.
Ain't It Cool News? No, I mean, it's still up there.
Yeah, you're right. CBR, I don't even recognize it. There's no comic book.
It's so different. Yeah, it's so different. Bounty and the comics do the same thing, though. Like, they changed their whole website. It's like, maybe it's a little more comic book oriented.
Well, Bleeding Cool actually is still focusing on nerd culture. Obviously the Avatar stuff, Fire and Ash, and then the X-Men 97, and yeah, it also talks about. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Zach. On the nerd site, they have AEW Dynamite review.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that. You don't need that.
And it's a negative AEW. So I guess Bleeding Cool must be the Pro Federation.
Maybe they're just anti-wrestling.
Hey, I have a question. Speaking of wrestling, so you had Seth Rollins confronting Cody Rhodes, and he comes out. Seth Rollins is talking. I'm the alpha. Am I the only one that thinks that if you're an alpha, you don't go around saying I'm an alpha? Alphas don't announce.
Well, yeah, that's why he's a villain.
And also, if you're wearing one of the little, what do you call it? One of those little, ponytail things that, like the little, guys wear, huh?
Man bun?
Yeah, if you're wearing a man bun and you walk around, you can't be sitting saying that you're alpha. The only person that can pull that off and say that they're alpha would be, Jesus, the guy that just came back.
Brock Lesnar. And he doesn't need to sit there and announce that he's an alpha because everyone knows he's doing it. I'll just sit there laughing my head off going, you're an alpha. You don't need, if you're announcing you're an alpha, you aren't an alpha.
On Good News Wrestling fans, Brock Lesnar is signed to appear 8 times in the next year.
Oh boy. A whole 8 times, huh?
Uh-huh.
Right? Yeah.
And I won't be watching if I have to pay to get ESPN.
Oh, here you go. You can buy McFarlane's coming out with a new toy, Batman's Failsafe Protocol for the Chip Zdarsky run. Now you can get that extra.
Oh, the Failsafe robot?
Yep.
That'd actually be a pretty cool looking
Now, if they had a toy with Batman's underwear in his head coming back in from space. That would sell.
That problem for the memes. I would buy it. I would 100% buy that.
I'm Bleeding Cool. Apparently, Dynamite gets minor victory over its $500,000 claim against Diamond. Yeah, because Diamond screwed them over, so they basically reported $500,000. Or I guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Does Diamond even have $500,000 to pay off?
Court document revealed that Dynamite served Dynamite with a document request and the gates on July 31st. Basically, yeah. Responses to this was due by August 27th, but none were provided. Email exchange. Dynamite states that no response has materialized, prompting Dynamite to claim that that this means that Dynamite has waived objections by failing to respond in timely fashion, stating that the failure to reject requests for production of documents without good cause constitute as a waiver of any objections that interrogatory and or defense. So, yeah. Bleeding Cool has been keeping track of everything that's what's going on with that. They're the only website I've noticed that actually follows the whole Diamonds thing still. Kind of feels like a lot of people, you go to comic book channels, they don't really talk about what's going on with Diamond. I think Wes is the only channel I've seen that actually brought up Diamond. Not recently, but curious to see what goes on with that. I know that Lunar was having some issues. Lunar's going to start carrying some more of the independent stuff. And then Penguin Random House is going to start carrying some more of the independents. But yeah, there's a lot of people are having problems with it now with Lunar and a few others not getting the DC books in independence.
Yeah, I don't know who my shop gets to now, but I mean, I had a whole bunch more DC stuff that I was supposed to be getting, and you saw what I got for DC, and then there's no Image, and a few other stuff. So I don't know who that was. I was supposed to be shipping it to him. But.
So this is Rich Johnson who wrote that article with the Diamond thing. It basically says that the Dynamite is going to get expedited court case against Diamond. The Diamond can't just drag it out. So let's see if they get their $500,000 or not. Because I imagine Diamond probably owes way more than that.
From what I
hear, the rumors, and I don't know if it's true or not, but these are rumors allegedly that Diamond was selling the books that they had shops to other people or going online or whatever, doing underhanded tactics to make money, which is kind of weird because why don't you just give it to the people that paid for the books? And here's the other thing too. My shops, they said they were never they only get charged until they get the books. They weren't charging his account, so he wasn't the only thing he was losing money on is not having the books there to sell them. But then there's sometimes like where you'll get charged and then you order books, you'll get some books in, but you don't get all the books in. So I don't know. Like I said, something needs to happen. It's at this point, if we move Diamond out of the picture, the other little shipping companies need to basically start figure out what's going on because Zenoscope is not being put out now. Zenoscope went through Fillable, whatever it's called there, and then and along with another little studio also went with them too, another little imprint, and people are having problems getting Zenoscope now. And here's what Zenoscope needs to do: they need to start selling directly to the shops. If I put an order in through Zenoscope through whatever their comic book, because they have Zenoscope.com, it looks like you can't store it. And I looked, there's a link in there. I was talking to the guy. He's not the owner of the store, but he was like, because the owner for my main store has been in the hospital and out of hospital since December. 50 years old. He has a very bad heart. And he's basically had back surgery because he broke his leg and he fell and hasn't been able to come to the shop. So it's the state of my shop that I go to, maybe the shop might be closing, which kind of sucks. But they found out that that Zenoscope, you can go through them if you're a store owner, if you're a comic shop, you can actually put a call to directly email them, and you can set up a direct purchase for them instead of having to go through another little company. So that might be the solution. But yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, Breen, you talked about this originally years ago when it's first, or actually was it almost 2 years? It feels like it's 2 years ago when all the diamonds start. Oh crap! You said that basically the little companies might go away, but the big two will still be around. Something like that. I think that was you. I remember it was E. Hello?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Tony Storm and RJ City pitched an idea for the Death Riders to become a devious gay sex cult, but Tony Khan shot it down.
Nice. But yeah, that's kind of it for comic book news. You know, that wasn't a Canadian bear. That was earlier Jackson. That was Geeky sneezing or burping, whatever the two combination. I don't know.
And a Canadian bear is a gay guy, hairy gay guy who dresses in denim.
All right.
Alrighty. Good news. Good talk, everybody.
Don't jump yourself. Stay with Jeff. But yeah, other than the comic, I can't think of any other comic book news really. There's nothing really breaking out. Oh, here's one thing. It's not comic book related, but it's manga related. With Crunchyroll, which is the leading monopoly site of all the anime. So if you want to get anime, you go through Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll is trying to conquer all of everything coming into the western part, from the Japan. So now they're launching a new website, a new app through from Crunchyroll, which you'll have to pay for that too as well. And it's gonna be all manga. So it means that they're gonna start controlling as far as the digital releases of manga. And that's what I say about that. Just go buy the book.
You can get the Shonen app, the Shonen Jump app, which has a bunch of manga, and that's already available for $2. So.
Yeah, but they're trying. So Crunchyroll over the last couple of years are trying to secure all the rights, the licensing rights. So they've been doing that, accumulating. So it's getting to the point where, they're gonna have a monopoly. And they've also been going after anybody who has fan scanlations at all. On the pirate sites. And the only the biggest issue I have with this is not just with the monopoly, is the fact that they've also been found guilty of hiring people that are mistranslating stuff on purpose and censorship. So, and if you're not following what's going on with anime is getting the same crap that's going on in some of the movies here. Is that they got people who are trying to censor anything. So basically everything that might be suggestive or whatever. We have in Texas, they banned basically you're not allowed to sell Dragon Ball because it shows little Goku's little penis, when he's a kid, It's been out since what, the late 80s, early 90s, that manga. And it's all part of the online Safety Act thing, and Visa's been involved. They've been going after Steam too as well, and there's a whole conflict, basically going on in Japan with a lot of I think it was Black Clover, the author, had no idea that their work was being censored in America and being altered. So they're kind of pissed, and so might see some for those who are anime or manga nerds. You might see some of them where no new manga is coming to America. They're keeping it in Japan.
Oh no.
That's not entirely accurate.
Oh no.
It is not.
all.
What is he saying? Oh no for?
No anime coming. No manga coming to America.
I understand, Jeff. You're old and you can't understand anime or especially when anime beat out like other movies right now. Demon Slayer came out and has been one of the highest ranking anime movies. Over $524 billion, bro, or $1 million. Sorry.
Oh no.
So just because you're a bigot towards things you don't like.
Hey, I am big and I am it. So yeah, sure.
No, but you think about it, comic books are no different than manga, storytelling wise. So if you think that one's a kid's thing, you're reading a kid's thing.
I never said that. I just I've never really read a lot. So
There's some really good mangas. I'd say that some of the mangas are better than, especially today's stories. There's a lot of good manga out there. I don't get One Piece. Zach does, but One Piece will sell out anything that's come out in comic books. At least for the last like 20 years more.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. It's insanely popular because they're loyal to their fans.
I'm more of a Two Piece fan.
Alrighty.
Well, it depends on who's wearing it. You know.
But my overall point is the fact that there's a lot of censorship
Not
going
even
on now.
close.
No, what's all the crap that's happening in comic books is spreading to manga and anime, and it needs to stop. So I don't know, but yeah, I'll just letting you know that's because the Online Safety Act thing has been branching out from all that crap. And that's kind of one of the reasons. It's all about control for the kids. Take care of the kids. We don't want kids clicking on things, We got Michigan. You heard about Michigan? Oh, we're gonna ban VPNs. Try it. But
is that the Studley vice president state? Michigan.
Michigan is where all the terrorists in Dearborn.
I thought that was Walt's state, or was that Minnesota?
No,
that's
Minnesota. No, but Michigan has the female governor, the one that was talking crap during COVID and trying to keep everybody locked down and stuff.
Whitmer.
Yep, very nice lady.
Yeah,
Extremely nice. She'd invite you over for breakfast and then murder you before, and then say, "Oh, it was your fault."
Actually, this is rather interesting. That bill that would be banning VPNs was introduced by 6 Republican representatives.
And that's what it's doing in Texas for the manga stuff.
Well, so that one is a little bit different. So the manga, so I looked that one up while you were talking about it. It just means to keep pornographic and like nudity and sexual obscenity stuff.
Fan service. You're not going to have
which 10-year-old kids don't need to see. So
10-year-old kids don't need to be buying the manga. It's said it's mature.
Buy manga.
10-year-old kids aren't buying anything because they don't have money.
Anyway, this one though was introduced by Republicans, so that's kind of alarming.
And I got this, by the way. So
27, cool.
Vampirus Carmella.
It's the old Warren magazine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought for sure because it was such a Muslim-heavy state, I thought it would be like a Islam pushing bill, but I guess I was wrong.
Hate to see you go, Jackson.
I'd love to watch you leave. Not really.
I don't know what you're checking. Oh, never mind.
You need to make jokes all night long. Zach shoots off a joke and everybody dogpiles him.
Well, yours was a weird joke.
We were just making a joke that you were enjoying watching his ass as he goes.
I mean, it was a bad time for that joke after we had the denim bear and all that stuff.
It was a bad. It was. I get it. I should read the room. I get it. All right.
At least you can read. So
I can read. That's true. Words, not rooms.
Oh, also for those who what was that? Is it Greenland? You remember that 2020 movie with Gerard Butler and Monica Karen? Yeah, they made a sequel to that. It's coming out in January. The first one was all about like asteroids or meteors hitting and they're trying to flee. So now this one is like it's continuing with. I was surprised they made a sequel to an apocalyptic movie kind of thing.
That's interesting. I didn't know Gerard Butler did movie.
He does. He's just not the main star as everybody wants him to be. I think for me, I think he peaked with the Olympus as Fallen and all that stuff. Those were his big 3 movies, and then after that, he's kind of like,
he peaked with the first one because 2 and 3 were not as good.
Well, whoever really missed the chance of naming hemorrhoids, asteroids. You know, why didn't they just do that to begin with? I don't know. I mean, that would have worked perfectly.
I've never heard of hemorrhoids be called asteroids.
I know that's the fact that no one did is a missed opportunity.
That was a shitty joke.
Yes, it was.
That joke was ass.
I should move on to my number 2 joke.
Brother.
All right, I'm gonna go watch the rest of Dynamite. You guys,
Yeah.
yeah, watch out, WWE. AEW now has female tag team championship belts. Finally. Tomorrow, World's Finest, number 7, I believe. We're gonna be on now. 7 or 8. I think in issue 8. So look for that. That'll be around 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, stay safe, take care, stay inside, watch out for bears wearing denim. Apparently they have that in Alaska. It's cold up there, so they got to put denim on.
Not getting cold yet. It's starting to.
Well, if they start putting sunglasses and then start going, whatever.
So you making fun of Minty now?
Whatever.
He's
Later,
Australian,
guys.
So.